Hey everybody, it's Steven, the Armchair Emperor here, and we're going to do a very quick video about where the channel's going, where it's been, and what we've been up to. Now, if you guys are wondering where the battle reports are, they are coming. They are definitely coming. Life kind of jumped on us in the past few months with the holidays, and also just a lot of planning. Shelby and I are in the process of moving in together, so we really have sort of two places right now. And all of our hobby stuff is strung out between both of those places. What we've been up to is painting and planning new games. Over the holidays we brought in 2 new board games, which is going to be the Silver Tower for Warhammer, and we've also brought in the Horus Heresy Burning of Prospero game. So those are going to be a lot of fun. We're painting the miniatures, and we've also brought in Trader Legion's Codex Supplement. And we're going to show you guys briefly all of the different miniatures we're working on currently, what we finished, and the new rule sets that we're going to be learning. There's some very exciting stuff going on with the channel, guys, especially the Osprey Publishing games. So, we've been learning rules, we've been painting miniatures, and another thing is I was considering, and you guys can let me know what you think about this in the comments below, or directly via email at thearmchairemperor@gmail.com. What kind of books that you guys are interested in? Are they historical? The different Osprey books with the beautifully painted full-color plates. A certain fantasy or sci-fi series. It doesn't have to be Black Library or Games Workshop. Or are you guys interested in the Horus Heresy novels? I've got a lot of those, and I've read I think about 16, 17 of those books so far, and they're wonderful. They just really provide a deep background, not only for 30K, but for 40K as well. So, without any further ado, I'm going to show you guys our collection of books, then we're going to get into what's been on the painting table, and the new games that we're bringing in. Here we have some of the ongoing projects. We've got Silver Tower, miniatures, and Age of Sigmar miniatures, miniatures from the Burning of Prospero, and also we've been working on a lot of historical stuff recently. Here we have some of the historical models which we're using for an Osprey game which we just got. Osprey Publishing, as you guys know, had a very successful game called Frostgrave, which is a fantasy-based game, and they have many historical games. Now, they don't sell miniatures, they just sell books, so we decided to go with 54mm toy soldiers, plastic toy soldiers. Most of them are from a company called Armies in Plastic, and we plan on using them in this awesome Osprey skirmish game, which has gotten us really excited. We've been reading the books, this Bernard Cornwell's historical fiction series, the Richard Sharpe series, and it kind of got us on a whole Napoleonic kick, especially the Peninsular War. So this is the warband that we painted up for the British and their allies in the Peninsula for our skirmish game. We also recently started painting up some World War I troops. Here we have French infantry. Here they are moving through a piece of terrain I just completed. And that's another thing we want to do. We want to show you guys how to make terrain from items that you may have lying around your home, or you can get for very cheap, if not for free. That's an aspect of the hobby that was really big when I was younger, and which I feel like deserves a little bit more attention these days, you know? There's some beautiful terrain that you can purchase out there, but if you're crafty or you have an artistic inclination, or just you want to save some money, there's really cool things that you can do with everyday household items. And here's just some stuff we got on the docket coming up. I just laid out some of our new books here on the bedspread to show you guys. There's one of the novels we're currently reading, Sharpe's Tiger. I got the Trader Legion's supplement because a lot of people had given me really good feedback about that, and I tried it in a couple of games. I'm very happy with it. We got, of course, have our General's Handbook. A really cool sort of retro how to make medieval dioramas and fantasy dioramas. That's got some great terrain tips in it, and it's where we've been learning how to do some terrain. The Index Chaotica Apocrypha is kind of interesting. It's got all retro pictures in there from, you know, the earliest days of Games Workshop's Chaos line, and some original artwork. I really think it's a cool book, especially if you're into old school miniatures like I am. Here's that game I was talking about, Chosen Men. Osprey's books are great. They include army lists in here. Of course, Osprey is known for their beautiful artwork from their campaign series and their Men-at-Arms series. So that's a reason to get that book alone. And the rules are super simple, so we're going to try that out.
The Men Who Would Be Kings is a Victorian-era skirmish game where you can be any number of nations, either European nations that were involved in imperialism or colonialism, or you can be like a Zulu. You can have a Zulu army. You can do a modest army from the Sudan. Chinese boxers. You could even be the U.S. Army if you want, fighting in the Philippines or in the Boxer Rebellion. There's all sorts of different, scenarios in there, which are pretty great. It's got a lot of color to it. This seems like an interesting game, which we want to bring to you guys. It's called Broken Legions. It's a cross between historical and fantasy. It's kind of interesting. It looked interesting. And we have a lot of fantasy monsters, which would go great with this game. And I also have a ton of Roman era, Imperial era and Republican era toy soldiers, which I could use in this particular game. So you can cast magic, you can have monsters and werewolves, minotaurs, hydras, gorgons, all that kind of cool stuff. In addition to learning a little bit about Roman history and military history. So that looks really fun. Here's some of the stuff we've been painting up. We've got a World War I German tank to go along with that game I just showed you guys. I finally painted up those Dark Angels, which you saw in like my very first video. We've got some Frostgrave minis for our war bands all set to go. We got this Chimera, which has the head of the goat, the lion, and the dragon, tail of a snake. We're going to use that for that Broken Legions historical fantasy game I was telling you guys about. The ghost could be used for anything. And some World War I Germans. These are all miniatures you guys have seen before, but they're all nice and neat in a glass case now. So we've just been trying to keep a better lid on things. This stuff, we put a lot of heart into it, we put a lot of work into it. Want to make sure it's stored properly. And that is the state of the library. So just letting you know, the Armchair Emperor is also about history, fantasy, sci-fi, all kinds of books we have here. And we love every aspect of the hobby. So if you guys are interested in hearing about any of the books I've just shown you, just give us a shout in the comments below. And I'll do a short, quick little video for you guys about that particular book. And we can probably get to any suggestions you guys might have. And as far as tabletop content, bat reps, those are definitely coming soon. Hopefully by the time you guys even see this, we'll have a Betrayal of Caliph game out, and we're certainly working on getting to 40K and others. So, thank you guys for watching very much, and we are signing out.